Hello everybody, welcome back. A couple of videos ago I made a video about, the RV was fixed and about a propane heater. This one right here that I had broke out and started using just for a couple of mornings, and uh, it's a dangerous propane heater, and I knew I didn't want to use it I knew I needed to get something right away. I have a Mr. Buddy heater, and to heat the RV I would keep it in the back in the evenings, close the bathroom door and run it on low to keep the back warm. I would move it up front in the morning and close the door again, if it was real cold, just to heat the front part. And I really got tired of moving it back and forth. I just wanted to set it and forget it, set it up somewhere and just leave it there, somewhere out of the way, convenient. And so I just want to leave that one back there in the bedroom, and I don't want to have to mess with it. So I wanted to get a second heater. Well, what I started doing as soon as we got a couple of cold nights was I broke this old gem out, and it has no safety features. If it gets tipped over, it's not going to shut off. It's just an old school um, when you put on one of these 1 pound propane tanks. I love it and hate it. It makes great heat. I'd sit it right down here on the floor, and I work over here as my chair, my desk, so it was just nice and convenient. But yeah, I knew I had to do something and not put it off, because it only a matter of time. Something's going to happen. It's going to get tipped over. I might accidentally kick it. Bella might bump into it. It doesn't take much to knock this thing over. So I did make a decision on what I wanted to do. There were two runners up. I was surprised. Let me back up. I want to thank everybody for their comments and their input on all these different heaters. There were more issues, or more options. issues. There were more options out there than I realized. But the two runners up were the diesel, the little diesel heaters. Now, I've heard about those before. They're supposed to be really efficient, and there's pros and cons to everything. I didn't I didn't like the idea of having to carry around yet another fuel. I already have down in my basement compartments. I already have a spare propane tank for the propane heater that I do have. I have gasoline for my generator. The generator's down there. There's car care products, or RV care products. Okay, there's oil changing stuff. There's cleaners. There's those. I have a couple compartments over on the driver's side of the RV that they're pretty much spoken for. And to make room for another jug and start buying diesel fuel, I that was one issue. The other one was where to mount it and what all was involved in installing it, and it would involve cutting some holes in the RV. Really not interested in doing that, and the location of where I would install it. One suggestion was underneath one of the dinette cushions. Now, cushions. Underneath one of the dinette seats. There's storage under there. There's space available. But I didn't like the idea of, again, cutting holes and where it could blow the heat out. Plus, it would need a place to air intake where it could draw cool air in. So that air needs to circulate. And the kit I looked at was not vented, which means, there's diesel. No matter how efficient it is, if it's not vented to the outside, there are diesel fumes, even if they're small. Those are coming into the RV. And it also said that you have to keep a window open. You have to have it in a ventilated space, and all that stuff together. I'm not interested in a diesel heater in an RV. I think in a van, or a cargo van, or a cargo trailer, or a bus, or maybe there's another vehicle that would be more practical in. But inside my RV, where all the spaces in here are pretty well spoken for. There's not a lot of options on where to mount that. Out where, I think in my view, I would want something like that out in plain view, where I could check it easily, keep an eye on it. Maybe, I don't know. That's new. That would be a new device to me that I'm unfamiliar with. I'd want to keep an eye on it. Put my hand on it, see if it's heating up nice, or getting really hot, or I don't know. It's just something I'd want to be able to keep an eye on easily. I wouldn't want it underneath a dinette seat. Uh, I wouldn't want something burning diesel fuel underneath the dinette seat. It's underneath a piece of plywood. It's underneath a cushion. I don't want a fire underneath my dinette cushion. Okay, it just all sounded like a bad idea for in an RV. I'm sure there's thousands of them out there mounted in various ways. I'm sure they're safe, or they probably wouldn't be on the market. You'd still have to watch the installation instructions. And anyway, I just rolled the diesel heater out. The next runner up, I really was that Wave, the Camco Wave heaters. There's the Wave 3, the Wave 6, and the Wave 8. That was one I was considering initially. Again, kind of like the diesel heater. It wasn't real expensive, a little bit, but the Wave 3 heater, or Wave 6 or 8, they are definitely more expensive. Installation required. I guess they can be freestanding. They do come with feet where they can just sit on the floor, and I think they certainly would have a tip-over feature. But I think the price, for all the more I would gain with that, I think for the price, I did want a wall mount it, and I thought about over here on the side of these, my sink cabinet over here. But I think the price, I don't think there's a big gain in that for what I was paying for. They were supposed to be a more efficient heater than the Mr. Buddy heaters. But there's also the logistics of getting one on the road too. I don't know anywhere locally that they're available. Same with the diesel heater. That was another con. But that's, getting on eBay or Amazon, arranging someplace to have it delivered to, where I knew I was going to be ahead of time. I have it shipped there and pick it up, and then the installation, the cost. It was. I wanted to get away from this thing right away, with no delay, and that's why I posted that video. It was like the third morning. I just can't keep doing this. It's only a matter of time. And a couple of comments too said, yeah, don't mess around. Retire this thing, right? Excuse me. So I did end up buying the new and improved. Okay, I did decide to go ahead and get another Mr. Buddy heater. Now, this one here, I think they bumped up the BTUs on this. I'm certain the other one, the low and the high setting was either 4,000 or 8,000 BTUs. Well, they bumped this one up a notch. It's actually 4,000 and 9,000 BTUs. 9,000 on the high setting, 4,000 on the low setting. So it makes more heat, and it's indoor safe. Okay, it has a low oxygen safety shutoff feature, and of course the tip over safety shutoff feature. And I know the one I've had was, you wouldn't even have to come close to knocking it over. If you just bumped it, it would shut off. So that feature works pretty well. Just a bump and that's it. It shuts off. But yeah, indoor safe, low oxygen safety, tip over safety. And for around 60, oops, got some glare going on there. For around $60, and you basically screw one of these green canisters into the side of it and turn the thing on. You're done. No installation required. Now, I know one of the biggest complaint about these heaters are, and I will mention, some people seem to have some issue with them. The one I've had, it's going on 3 years. I've never had issue with it, and it's not like I'm real careful with it either. I don't have a dust cover for it. It just, in the off season, it sits around and collects dust, and it gets banged around a little bit, and it's been a good old reliable heater. So I haven't had any issues with my Mr. Buddy heater. Probably the number one complaint with these is they put a lot of moisture into the air, and will make the RV sweat. And I've only ever had that happen. Yet the only time that moisture has ever really been an issue for me has been a couple of times where I was up in the Northeast, up in a wetter, moister, humid climate. You know, this time of year here now, it's October. The days are certainly getting shorter. They're getting cooler. There's a lot of moisture in the air. You know, a lot of rain starts moving in the fall. You know, the ground is soft. But, you know, walking across the yard, it's like walking on a wet sponge, and there's always dew on the grass in the morning and on windshields, and you know, it's a wet climate. So there's already a lot of moisture in the air. So I think with the Mr. Buddy heater, and in particular on cool nights and cool mornings, if you've run this, it's also baked a lot of that moisture out of there. Yeah, it's made some moisture on its own, but even more so, the moisture that's already in the air, hitting cold glass. I have had the windows sweat up before while I was up there, you know, this time of year. Um, you know, here in a drier climate, getting a desert where it's humidity levels single digits, or you know, 50 humidity levels 15% humidity. It's really dry out here in the desert. I have never seen any moisture, you know, with it in these climates. And even back up in the Northeast, the moisture I did see, it was never so excessive that the walls were wet. Now I've heard, you know, I've heard that some people have experienced that, and maybe that was when they're also in a moist climate, and they're running the heater on high like all night. Um, you know, in my case, I don't. I tend to run mine on low just to keep it from getting too cold. I try to run it a limited amount of hours. Um, I don't know. Moisture just hasn't been a problem. Excessive moisture has not been a problem with these for me. Um, Results vary. Okay, per user. So I did bring my original one out here into the kitchen area, and I do have an extension hose. It's either 10 or 12 feet. I don't run it off of one of those 1 pound cylinders. I run it off its own 20 pound cylinder. And of course, the 20 pounders you can exchange just about anywhere, any time of day. You know, gas stations have them, Walmart's have them. Yeah, so if you were to happen to run out of propane at an odd hour, you know, they're just so readily available. So, and the other one, the new one, you know, I have back here. It's nice and out of the way back here in the bedroom. The other morning, it got pretty dang cool. Okay, let me tell you. And it was nice to, as usual, you know, I try to conserve on propane. I don't want to be out buying it all the time. I don't need to keep the entire rig heated all night. So I still close the bathroom door most of the way, and I just run the pilot light in the back, and it keeps it comfortable in there. But it was cool enough. I knew when I woke up, okay, I have, let's see, a quilt, a wool blanket, and a comforter on the bed. So I stay pretty warm, warm and toasty. But I could tell in the morning I started waking up and moving around. Oh, I could tell the air out from underneath the covers was pretty cool. Like, I need to get up and get some heat going in here. It was nice to get up, and probably for the first 15 minutes, I turned the back one on high and I turned the front one on high, and it warmed up in here pretty quickly. It got comfy, took the chill off pretty quick. It was nice. So I turned them both on low, and having one at each end, or one in the back and one, you know, midway up here, you know, first hour or two in the morning till the sun kind of got going and on the RV, and it warmed up a little bit. Having them both on low just kept the RV nice and evenly heated. It was comfortable in here, and then before long had them both shut off. But that's how I use the Buddy heaters. That's how I stay warm. You know, for the price of these things and the safety features, you know, it was also something that you could buy. You know, there's not that shipping thing involved. You know, you can get on Tractor Supply or Home Depot. You know, carries these things in for $60, you know, or so. Bring it in, hook it up, and you're, you know, that very next night or next morning, that's it. This was put away. It's retired. The only place one of these things would be safe would be like in a garage, you know, with a concrete floor, not near any flammables. I'm certainly not going to throw it away. it's an old, it's probably an antique, you know. It's um, I couldn't scrap it, you know. I'll I'll use it somewhere where it's safe eventually. It'll go back with me to Pennsylvania next time I'm there, and I'll put it in the garage and store it with my other stuff, and that's where it'll be. But yeah, I won't keep it in the RV anymore. Anything else? Okay, so anything else related to the heater? Anything I forgot? No. Cost, availability, ease of installation. I don't have a problem with moisture to the degree that I'd be concerned. So this was the answer for me. It's something I already had. I was familiar with. Its safety features. It's been working. My other one worked good for going on 3 years. The second one was the answer for me. I guess that's it. I got some other things going on here. I'll share with you soon. I think that's it for the heater stuff. Right? Okay. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay warm. And I'll see you next time.